I think I'm going to do the rest of this trip in one long YouTube video. Probably not that long. It was going to be 15 minutes. I'm just sick and tired of holding down that goddamn WhatsApp record button. It's easier for uploading to the blog. And Mark Alper in Toronto tells me he can't get onto YouTube. He's got filters on his phone or on his computer. But, you know, there comes a point a guy does 10 WhatsApp videos to upload to his blog. And is anybody going to sit there, press play, press play, press play, press play, you know, one YouTube video? You record, you upload, you press play. You know, there might be an ad in the middle or something, but I think it's a lot simpler. Oh, my side is hurting. I still got more gas. Oh, I kind of miss having Billy Melf to walk with. We only really walked at one time. Kind of miss Tepper to walk with. We went for a couple of walks this first winter here, second winter. I don't remember. My cousin had gone away for a couple of times. I don't remember if it was hospital stays or he went to go stay by his dad or he went to go stay by a friend. I don't know what the fuck. And Tepper liked to go for walks, same as I do. Although it's hard to go for walks in the summer. The temperature is just unbearable. In the winter, you just gotta wait for the rain to stop. But the cold is definitely manageable. It's not that cold, especially if you're used to a Toronto winter, you know, minus 15, minus 20. Unless it's pouring rain, you can go for a walk. If it's snowing, you can go for a walk. Why the hell not? Snow doesn't prohibit walking. If you get home, you're gonna be a little bit wet, but not much. Snow doesn't seep into clothes right away when it's cold out. It forms like a barrier. That's what happens when you grow up in a cold climate. You get used to that. Summers are, 35 degrees outside. How the fuck are you supposed to bear it? You drink 3 liters of water, you spend the rest of the afternoon peeing. You know, and then you gotta go take a shower and change your underpants again. Speaking of which, I wanted to do laundry. You know, it's a completely different world out here, you know. And next I should try, you know, living in Colombia. It's near the equator, but it's a lot more humid. So I don't think you have to worry about dehydration, but you do have to worry about snakes and scorpions and mafiosos and getting kidnapped. And, you know, I guess the nicer it is in a place, the more likely to have human problems. And the less hospitable, the more likely to have God problems. I don't know. I tried to connect with God in Toronto, in Israel. I don't think I'm that good at connecting with God, and I don't think I'm that good at connecting with people. I live on Staka. It's not really a job, it's just Staka, 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 Staka. Every once in a while I curse somebody under my breath. Every once in a while I curse somebody out loud. It's like, seriously, you come to this expensive country on tour and you ain't got one shekel for me. I grew up religious. I got psychological problems. I got physical problems. I got emotional problems. I got financial problems. I have relationship issues. So do I, so do I, so do I, so do I, so do I. Everybody's got their peckle. It's really not fair what I do to people. Like at Hill, Aaron was telling me today, you got a regular job. What is a regular job? I don't know. Sends me a link to go join a cleaning crew, cleaning people's houses. Who's to say they get regular jobs? I mean, if they do, if things go missing, who do you think they're gonna turn to? The cleaning crew. They're the ones who've been going through all their stuff all day. I know my mother had a Polish cleaning lady for a while. Supposedly she stole some of the silverware. Literally silver. And I was supposed to Joan, this black woman, who was cleaning my mother's house for most of my life. Been around since I was a baby, used to change my diapers. Not that I remember that, but I've been told that she did. And meet her in a grocery store. years later in my 30s and say hi. It's like, I don't know who you are. It's like, is that people in general? Or is that just, non-Jews? Because my experience with women, not so great. My experience with family, not so great. My experience with men, some better than others. It's hard to say. It's really, really, really hard to say who are good people and who are not. I'm not God. I can only, what's the word? I can only describe when I feel I've been righted or wronged. When somebody's been nice to me, or when I think when somebody's been not nice to me. And I think it's ironic when people pass me over for a shekel or a dollar. It's like, how am I any more worthy or unworthy than the rabbi-looking person or the old lady? I don't understand it. I look at them, and not just the ones who beg where I beg, but throughout the city, or if I go traveling anywhere else, it's like, are you any different than me? Physically, yes, we're all physically different. Baby's physically different from me. The grandmother's physically different from me. The grandfather's physically different from me. Shiva Baruch's physically different from me. Everybody's physically different from one another. But in terms of being a human in need, we're all give or take the same. But then again, I kind of feel for Mo. Mo sits there, and sometimes people give me and they don't give him. Sometimes people give me and they don't give the rabbi. Sometimes people give me and they don't give the old lady. It's very rare. Usually, if they give me, it's guaranteed they're going to give the old lady or the rabbi. If they give me, but giving me is no indication they're going to give Mo. Mo looks poor, and he sits there in a kippah. He's typically on his phone. Nice enough guy. I mean, he's basically alone in the world. As far as I can tell, he's an orphan, no siblings. He said he's waiting to hear from a barrister about his father's estate. Whatever that might be worth. Then he might have to go back to England to claim it, whatever. I don't understand these details. As far as I know, I don't have an inheritance waiting for me. If I'm lucky, I've got an afterlife I'm not going to detest. But I don't think so. If you listen to the rabbis, it said, Olam Haba is Tzadikim Yoshim B'Trasem B'Rosheim. Base Medrash studying Gemara all day. I don't know. I don't have that much of a desire. I don't have much of a cheshek for Gemara. Never have. The only time I even pushed Gemara as a priority is when the Chabadniks came at me telling me that Tanya is more important than Gemara. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I grew up on Gemara. Gemara is the bread and butter. You want to say Tanya? Tanya's like Musar. Chassidus. Okay, so it has its place. You guys want to study it 5 hours a day? Go right ahead. Just don't tell me it's that important. I have hard enough dealing with the fact that the rabbis tell me Gemara is that important. I'm supposed to study it, 8-10 hours a day. A little bit of Musar, a little bit of Chassidus, a little bit of Halacha. But Gemara is the way to go. I don't know. Last couple of years in Toronto, I was all over the place. Studying this, studying that, studying this, studying that. I had books from very secular Chabad rabbis. I had books from, all sorts of different people. I had listened to lectures all over the place. And that's on top of the secular lectures I grew up. I still remember listening to lectures from Dr. Sue Johansson about sex ed. I'm talking about, I was like, 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old, something like that. Listening to Sue Johansson with her sex class on the radio every Sunday night, like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, I don't remember. Definitely not Jewish education, at least not according to the Orthodox world, according to the rabbis. You can have sex, you gotta use a condom. You go to the Orthodox circle, you're supposed to go to Dori Shore and get your blood tested and make sure you don't have any, carrier for Tay-Sachs, on top of getting tested for AIDS or any other STD. I've only ever been tested one time in my life. It was like the day after I'd, either had sex or almost had sex. Probably had sex with my shiksa girlfriend in 2008 or 2009. Probably 2008. She had some sort of white discharge coming out of her. I was like, I hope I'm not catching anything. It's like the one time in my life I consented to having blood taken. I was like, this is important. This whole Dorje Shore thing about Tay-Sachs, my parents didn't have it. My grandparents didn't have it. All the generations before didn't have it. You know, we're talking, what, 3,000, 4,000 years of Jews? All of a sudden, in the last 30, 40 years, we have to get tested because Tay-Sachs is an Ashkenazic disease. Give me a break. I mean, don't get me wrong. You find a beautiful, wonderful, loyal woman, somewhere between 18 and 30 years old, who can easily still have kids. And she likes the kind of person I am. She's seen my blog for the last 12, 13 years. She sees exactly what kind of person I am. She's like, yeah, this is the kind of guy I want to marry. We'll have a decent life together. I get along with him, he'll get along with me, Maybe for her, I'd get tested for Tay-Sachs. I doubt it. Because, when I go to the hospital for a panic attack and they want to take blood to see, what's floating around in my system, I'm like, no needles, no needles. And I half jokingly say, if I was okay with needles, I'd probably be a heroin addict by now. Because, life is such a pain in the ass. Heroin is the most addictive substance in the world. It's the second hardest substance to quit from cigarettes. Cigarettes are second hardest to quit. The first hardest to quit. People will be on any drug in the world. And you look around the coat though, rabbis are smoking cigarettes. Christian priests smoke cigarettes. You ever seen The Godfather Part 2 or Part 3? Everybody's smoking. Pregnant women smoke. Everybody. It's one of the most addictive, most natural things in the world. Why? I have no idea. Ask the creators of cigarettes. Ask God. Is it killing me? Definitely feels that way. Is it causing me health problems? It definitely feels that way. So, creators of cigarettes are evil geniuses. Of course, then again, the Talmud says that most people die from stomach problems. So maybe my stomach problems have nothing to do with cigarettes. They have to do with the fact that most people die from stomach problems. Whether it's from the cigarettes, the food, the stress, lack of exercise, whatever you want. I got a half a mind that, if I was to have a woman to spend, once in a while a night in bed with me, it would do wonders for my physical and mental health. I know the last time I slept with a woman, and quite frankly, I wasn't that attracted to her, and the sex wasn't that great, but I felt good. My body felt loved, even though it was very animalistic. And it's not like when I was with Zip. I mean, God almighty, did we act like we loved each other? It wasn't all about sex. A lot of it was, but it most definitely wasn't all. I felt like she was, a missing part of me had been reattached. Not since I was like 4 years old, crawling into bed with my mother after a nightmare, had I felt that hole. And no woman after has made me feel that way. Try as hard as I might. I see a couple making out. I'm like, dude, get a room. Guys, get a room. And then in the back of my mind, it's like, not the back of my mind, my gut and my stomach and my head, it's like, it's amazing what they're doing. The rabbis will call it infatuation, and I'll say, that's like the most real thing on the planet. You see somebody eating in a restaurant, I think he's filling his gut. He's being selfish. See people going for a bike ride. Okay, they're getting exercise, and if they're wearing cool gear and they're riding a cool bike, okay, so they're being cool doing it. But a couple locked in arms, making out even in public, unabashedly. And I'm not talking about lewd action. I'm just talking about a loving embrace. It's like, my God, I remember what that was like. One woman in my life have I ever felt that way before. Maybe because she was my first. And I just remember so often having that embrace, that feeling of wholeness. And I ramble. And I ramble and I ramble and I ramble. I left the food out so it wouldn't get cold if I was hungry when I got back, but I don't feel all that hungry. But theoretically, the rice that's in there and the meat that's in there, theoretically I can put the kebabs that I got in my freezer, maybe get a potato, just plop that all into the rice cooker and that'd be my supper tomorrow night. By daytime I got bread, still got some cheddar, I have a little bit of salami left, 2 or 3 slices. I got some Hungarian salami, really overpriced, probably doesn't even taste that good, but for Shabbos get something nice. Tomorrow I'll go to Pasha, see if they got anything sparks my fancy. I really get into these salads, I went to Goldie's last week and the week before and I got 2 different types of tomato salads. It's like eating relatively healthy, change of pace for me as opposed to greasy, heavy meals that Chabad or Segel serve, which, if this was back in Canada, I'd be like, this is necessary, you need a heavy calorie intake, heavy meats. I remember, was it last summer or 2 summers ago, maybe 3 summers ago already, I wasn't in the room I'm in, and I didn't have a fridge, and often I didn't want to deal with my cousin. I just put my food on the window ledge. It's got bars on the outside, and you can close it from the inside, so theoretically you could have it act as a fridge in the winter. You buy a couple falafel lafas, and throughout your body, just snack on vegetables and bread. Very healthy. Come winter, you can get some deli and put it out there. It's not freezing, but it'll stay refrigerated enough for, 30, 40 hours. What do you think people used to do before fridges? You cured meat, if you're lucky, or you cook it, and you eat cold cooked meat. Oh, I'm starting to get tired. Oh, wow. Almost home. Another 10 minutes, depending how fast I walk. Bet you if I was with Zev, I'd be like, slow down, man, I can't walk that fast. And he'd be walking like double my pace. And every couple of minutes, I'd be like, dude, you gotta slow down. I can't walk that fast. I think I walk the pace that's suitable for walking with a lover. I guess I love myself. It's ironic, because I don't think I treat myself that well. But I don't. I mean, if I treated myself, I think if I truly love myself, I'd quit smoking. I don't know if I'd quit begging, but I think I quit smoking. I think I get an exercise machine and exercise, a couple times a week. Oh, wow. Another huge fart. I really thought about getting a bicycle, but I don't like cycling on streets, I know these are technically like residential streets, but people drive here like it's not, Not even in Toronto, My mother's street growing up, it's a 40 kilometer an hour or 30 kilometer an hour street. And every once in a while you have somebody who goes by really fast. It's like the street coming up here. It's a residential street. Kids playing it all the time. And sometimes in the middle of the day, somebody goes by, like 50 miles an hour. Why? Because they figure there's nobody there. How many people live in this whole yeshuv? Or they could just be pissed off and, not thinking. I used to do that on my bike all the time. Basically, almost ram into people on the sidewalks. I'd yell as I'm getting closer, out of the way, or excuse me, and I was a complete jerk. But I had so much energy to burn and so much anger and frustration and hormones going wild, I didn't know how to deal with it. And now I'm getting older, it's just like, most of the time I just mumble a curse under my breath, and occasionally I curse out loud, but I don't know, maybe it's not so occasional. I don't know. I do not know. This morning I ordered another knockoff Lego. A Porsche set. Not a Technique Legos style, but you know, old-fashioned regular Lego style. I'm guessing it's going to be a relatively small set, you know, give or take 1,458 pieces. So that's not that big. It's probably going to be a little bit bigger than the size of my hand. Not so big. If I was a kid, it'd be huge. But, you know. Oh, wow. I'm sweating. What I wouldn't give to have some woman love me. I'm not saying necessarily dote on me, but just happy to see me and share my bed with me and share my meals with me and just have a life, you know. If I want to go on a trip or she wants to go on a trip, have a partner. Figure out a plan and go do something, you know. I was checking out this artisanal bakery in Carney Shomron. I was thinking, you know, maybe Sunday's not such a bad idea. Well, Sunday's Schnitzel Day. But maybe not such a bad idea. It's, you know, it's 2 hours away, but still, if I leave, you know, from the Cotel, let's say 10 o'clock in the morning, 10:30, I could be there by 12:30. Check out this artisanal bakery. Probably along the way there's some sort of food options. Or I could pack myself some tuna sandwiches. It's not the greatest idea, it's not the worst idea. Or theoretically go a day without food. As long as I can find a cup of coffee on the way and got my mints and my cigarettes. Oh man. I'm a very not original person. Well, if you know anybody who wants some used furniture, there's some coming up. I was tempted to take some, you know, where to put my Legos. But I recently gave one away, so there's that space. I'm thinking about putting another one in the shower in my room. It doesn't get used. Although I was tempted to turn it on and, you know, rinse off the Legos that are there. But then I'd have to open up the sewer drain and the shower drain. But it'd probably be good for the bathroom to get a little cleaned. I wonder what happened here. Well, it doesn't look that new, so maybe somebody got some new furniture. Oh, just about home. That gray gate over there, that's where I go home. And the light up top, well, apparently I left the light on. Oh yeah, when I turn off the light, the kitten usually goes to sleep. So, oh wow. Might have been awake all day, and as you would have seen in my first video from coming home, I ate some of the tuna and put out that mini beef burger. So there's that. I'm tempted to eat it. Oh, if only I could get out 2 portions. Oh, whatever. Such is life. Just about home. I'll upload this in about 24 minutes, not 15 minutes.